Are you working hard enough to succeed? The path of hard work often leads to burnout. But what if I told you that there is more efficient, less taxing way to grow? Let's explore this together. Working long hours, sleep on the couch in the office become a new glamour style of the modern entrepreneurs. And we can find such stories everywhere. The Elon Musk values of living on the work and his stories and sleeping on the couch in his office. The full of challenges story of shoe dog life and how he dealt with him, how he sacrificed his personal life, leads us to believe that working long hours is the only way to succeed. So people start to believe that hustling hard is the only way to build a successful business. So we just dive in and getting work done. And this is what Michael Gerber talks a lot in his The E-Myth book. He basically splits human roles in business in three main categories: the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. So the entrepreneur is a dreamer. He dreams about a bright future and has an enthusiastic vision. The manager is a pragmatist. He gets directed by the entrepreneur's vision and then find ways to execute this vision, adapting to the real circumstances. The technician is the doer. He just gets things done. So people working 9 to 5 decided to start their business. They just get into it and start getting things done. They work hard because they start their business in a technician role. However, starting a business is the role of an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is the one who creates vision and systems. The manager executes these systems and technician just get things done. If technician will start doing the job without the execution and vision, the success of the business will be just a guess. It's like shooting a bird by randomly directing the gun into the sky and hoping that you will find one. Furthermore, technical work requires dedication and thus distracts from execution and vision. Unfortunately, this is a very common belief that when you're starting a business, you should get things done, and you can find it everywhere. For instance, just go to the Reddit and you can find a comment like this. People believe that hustling 60 plus hours a week will make them successful. And here is Robert Kiyosaki, a well-known financial literacy educator, and he explained it in the following way. He provides a cash flow quadrant, which is a chart that you see right now, that identifies the human state of mind depending on the roles they are doing. So on the left upper corner, you see the employee, and the employee is the one who have a job and he getting things done. On the left bottom side, you see the self-employed. Now he owns the job. So now he should get things done, he should create vision, and he should execute it. On the upper right corner is the business owner. He owns the system and people work for him. And the bottom right corner is an investor, where just money works for him. And the biggest problem with people starting a startup is that they try to build a business being on the left side of this quadrant. So what they basically do, they just moving from the employee down to the self-employed. And this is probably the worst place where you could be, because now you can't benefit of the employment stability where have you a stable paycheck and you just listen to your manager who tells you what could be done. Now you should hustle hard to get things done, and when you're not doing the work, you're not making results, you also need to execute all the systems around and you need to maintain your vision. Your focus is distracted, so it's really hard to achieve some progress here. But if we move to the right side of this chart, we know that not everyone has money to invest in a big business and just making work for him. However, in order to start a business, employee should switch to business owner. So he needs to create the systems and make people work to execute these systems. Because doing technical work without vision and execution produces 80% of waste. You need to balance vision management, getting things done, and it's very easy to quit and start doing wrong things. So after doing hard work of few months, you can realize that 80% of what you did doesn't make any sense. So you need to focus on the 20% and do it again. And you're just getting into this cycle. Thus, it requires very long hours of work, as only 20% of the work produces the value. And things get different when you move to the right side of the cash flow quadrant. Now your focus is just on the vision and partly on execution. You create a vision, you create a system, you delegate it, and it works for you. You observe the system, adjust it, you're objective driven, and you see how you're getting the results. This is why the entrepreneurs that run a successful business are not working long hours. And these might be very misleading statements. Entrepreneur works less than employee in terms of hours because he's not doing technical work. He creates the systems. However, entrepreneur takes much greater responsibility than the technician. And for a lot of people, it becomes really hard to handle their responsibility. So it feels like exhausting emotional challenge to start a business. That's why people think that starting business requires working hard. When you're emotional exhausting, you procrastinate, you're unproductive, and you're spending a lot of time doing the work that could be done more efficient. So that's why it's important to make a gradual growth and take the amount of responsibility you could handle right now. Also, implementing a productive discipline will help you to get things done quicker and thus be more efficient and work less hours. More work is not a solution to poor planning. Prioritize planning and execution over doing the work. This is how entrepreneur thinks. And running successful business without working long hours requires the following things. Critical thinking that helps you always challenge the status. You might hear a lot of different advices, opinions, so on and so forth. However, it's important to challenge everything and see, would it work for you? It worked for Elon Musk, but it not necessarily might work for you. So next time when you see a comment like this on Reddit, you should think, should I just open my VS Code and start coding everything? Or I better go and validate my problem solution and role hypothesis, hire a contractor that will code an easy prototype for me and quickly validate if my solution is viable enough, instead of spending months to build a waste. It's a known phrase that failing to planning, it's planning to fail. And there are a lot of different opinions on planning and business plans and so on and so forth. However, planning is just your Polaris star. While you're clear about your objectives, you can think critically. You can think if this particular item you're trying to do will work for you right now. That way you can be more efficient and do less waste and do more valuable work. Plans, however, plans are never succeed. How well you can plan something, you will hit the obstacles down the line and your plan won't work. That's why it's important to adapt. And you see the cockroach icon here, and cockroach is the most adaptable species in the planet. Scientists tell that if the nuclear war begins, cockroaches are the only species that will survive because they can adapt to different circumstances. So it's very important for business and for the personal growth to be able to adapt to the circumstances, because there is so little we can change about all the things around, but there is so much we can do to adapt to the circumstances, adjust our plan, and continue moving forward. And to keep the momentum while running your business, you need to execute. When you're getting started, you're motivated, you're inspired, you're full of power, you want to run the business, you have so much enthusiasm. When you're doing it for a while, it becomes dull. You become frustrated about the thing that didn't work, it just becomes boring. So you trying to be self-disciplined. You're forcing yourself to get things done, to make the job, and if you're doing it for the long enough, it just leads to the burnout. So it's very unreliable to rely on motivation, discipline. It is much more reliable to create a habit. And you know probably that you have a habit to brush your teeth, right? And how exhausted you are, how tired you are, you're still just getting brushing your teeth and go to sleep. It's just a habit. You know that you just brush your teeth and go to sleep. And imagine if you develop the same habit about your business execution. So you won't rely on your mood, on your willpower, on your motivation. You just have a habit, you've done the thing, you're moving forward. I don't want to talk a lot about the habits because there is a great book that's called Atomic Habits, and you can read and find out how you can build your habits for success. However, habit is much more powerful and efficient mechanism to get things done than motivation, discipline, and so on. And the Pareto principle tells us that 80% of what we're doing is waste. So it's important to say no to everything. Think about eliminating most of the things you are doing. Challenge continuously what you're doing. For instance, you are creating a SaaS platform. And right now you're developing and you're thinking, okay, I already have the sign-up form with the email, and I will also want to build the Google sign-in. Do I need to build Google sign-in? Do I need sign-up form at all? Probably not, because I just want to test this prototype with 5 people, so I don't need the sign-up form. I just need a quick dashboard that could be put in front of people to test it. So continuously challenge what you're doing and eliminate as much as you can to avoid doing waste. Now, there still will be a bunch of things that needs to be done within those 20% of value work, and it's important to offload yourself from getting things done. And the first way how we offloading ourselves is automating. So when you're reaching out to people on LinkedIn to find you better customers, why are you doing it manually? Just automate it. However, in many cases, there are still a bunch of work that needs to be done manually, and you just can't automate it. For that reason, you should delegate. It's going to be much productive to hire an Upwork contractor who will create a simple dashboard prototype so you can test it in front of your customers while spending hours or weeks to code it yourself. And there might be the cases like I've provided where you can just hire the person straight away. There might be another cases when you don't know yet the process of how to get particular things done. So you first do it yourself to just get acquainted with it, to just learn some basics. Then you can create a system and delegate it. I've observed dozens of failed and successful startups. And I found that the only thing that differentiates success from failure is prioritizing the entrepreneurship work versus technician work when starting the business. So in this YouTube channel, I'm sharing the practice-proven techniques and tutorials on how to start and execute successful business without working long hours. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're interested in it. Thank you for watching. If you want to watch more, click here. Thank you so much. And if you like this video, click the like button.